We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Thursday, June 19th here in Seoul. I'm Lee Soo-jin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Julian Kim.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for coming in today. And Han Tae-ri's also with us
Great
today.
to be here.
Good to have you. And both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. It's Thursday, which means that we are going to begin with our keyword news, where we focus on a story that is gaining traction. Today's keyword is tech addiction. 1 in 5 young people said their excessive smartphone or internet usage is disrupting their daily routines. A survey by the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family found that around 17% of the young people surveyed were classified as being at risk of media over-reliance. The number of at-risk youths was highest among middle school students, followed by high school students and elementary school students. Based on this survey, the government plans to provide counseling for at-risk youths. So Teddy, do you also feel like you use technology way too much, and where do you usually use your phone for?
I do admit I use it too much, and these days it's kind of an addiction, but with your phone in your hands, you can do everything from banking to shopping to contacting people to everything you think about. So it's actually with me from the moment I wake up to the moment I go back to sleep. And I feel like that's not really healthy, but yes.
Right, that's so relatable because even if I know that I shouldn't be looking at my phone, there's just so many things you can do on your phone, so I keep looking at it. Can you relate with us on this?
Yeah, definitely. I do feel like I use my phone a lot, but I think it's really hard to live without our phone, especially in today's society. I'll use it to catch up with family, friends, news, go shopping, pay for things. The list just goes on. And all these things really just do add up, and it feels like I'm on my phone all day.
I agree.
Right, so it's easy to see how our screens have become central to our daily life, sometimes without us even realizing just how much time we're spending on them. And that concludes our keyword news for this Thursday. And as we head into the final stretch of the week, we're going to explore the latest lifestyle trends among our generation for today's main discussion. So let's take a look at the screen to find out more. Summer is here, and while you might think that people will be reaching for ice-cold beverages and chilled activities to cool down, in Korea, it's a different story. There's a long-standing belief that the best way to beat the heat is with more heat, and you can see it in what people eat and do during the summer. On today's episode of News Gen, we're going to dive into this unique Korean approach to staying cool in the summer and why more people around the world are catching on. Summer has officially arrived, and with it, rising temperatures that often leave people searching for ways to stay cool. While trying to beat the heat with more heat may seem counterintuitive, this practice is not only deeply rooted in Korean culture, but it's also supported by science. And one common approach to staying cool is eating hot and spicy dishes. So Julian, let me start with a personal question. Do you personally enjoy spicy food?
Oh, definitely. I love spicy food a lot.
Oh.
I even have a giant bottle of hot sauce I brought back with me from America, and I put it on most of the food I eat at home. I do have a limit though. I can't really handle extremely spicy food, like 불닭볶음면, for example. But in general, I like to have a little heat in my food. It just tastes better to me.
That's dedication to bring your own hot sauce.
Yep.
And I think it'd be really good on, I don't know if you know this show, it's on YouTube, it's called Hot Ones.
Oh yes, I love that one. I don't think I can handle the most spicy level, but all the way up to the medium level, I feel like it's my type.
Right, so for viewers who aren't familiar with the show, it's on YouTube. It's a series, it's an interview series where celebrities come on and they try the hottest spicy wings with the hot sauce on them. So what about you, Kenny?
Oh, I'm actually the opposite. So I'm quite amazed by the fact that you can have so much spicy stuff. And for me, actually, when you live in Korea, they tend to assume that you are really good at spicy food. But for me, coming from Italy, actually, that's not the situation, since I was used to eat no spicy food at all when I was back in Italy, and I could feel even 1 milligram of spiciness in my food, even though if it was like 1 kilo of pasta. But now, since I've been living in Korea for 10 years now, I got a little bit more used to it. I do not bring my hot spicy sauce with me, but I can handle a little bit of spiciness. So, for example, like the ramen, the instant noodles. Yeah. So there's the basic here, which is shin ramen, and I can have it a little bit.
So for our viewers who aren't as familiar with it, you're from Italy.
Yes.
So is it uncommon for spicy food? Is that uncommon in Italy?
Actually, it's not really uncommon, but I do feel like that the spiciness is a bit different in Italy and in Korea. So in Italy, when you have spicy food, it's going just to be to put a little bit of chili in it. But in Korea, it's more a mix of sweet and spicy and salty stuff.
Right, it
so
is,
I feel it's a bit different.
I see. So, Julian, why does spicy food become especially popular during the hot summer months?
Yeah, so Koreans love eating spicy food in general, but this is especially true in the summertime. We have to say here in Korea, 이열치열, which roughly translates to fighting heat with heat. And now this idea comes from the 동의보감, which is an ancient Korean medical text from the 1600s during the Joseon dynasty. Eating spicy food in hot weather is actually based on this very idea, and there is scientific reason behind it. Spicy food makes you sweat, and as the sweat evaporates, it cools down your body and lowers your core temperature. Now, I used to think that this was something that only Koreans really talked about or did, but even a few years ago, the British media covered just how eating spicy food can actually help you beat the summer heat too.
Right, so it's clear it's becoming a global trend. Teddy, do you have anything to add to this?
Actually, in Italy, we have the opposite style of eating. So when it's hot, we tend to have really fresh food, for example, fresh pasta, salad, or a lot of veggies. But when I came here in Korea, actually at first I thought maybe naengmyeon, which is cold soup noodles, might be the trend, might be something that Korean might enjoy during the summer, but I found out that it's not it. So a lot of people, they tend to have really hot broth and hot spicy food. And after I tried it for the first time, I actually felt the reason why they like it. You feel really refreshed after that. And there is actually a really interesting expression in Korean, which is 시원하다. So you might hear that a lot when you come to Korea. And 시원하다 can be translated to cool. So you might feel a bit, oh, that's something hot. Why is it cool? But actually it refers to the feeling you feel in your body, which is a refreshing feel. So yeah.
Right, I think what you said about feeling refreshed is so real because it's not just about the temperature, it's how your body actually feels afterwards.
Yeah.
So Julian, there's a common belief that spicy food can make you lose weight. Is there any truth to this?
Yes, there is some truth to that. A study conducted by researchers at Penn State University in the US involved 130 adults and found that those who ate spicy food consumed up to 18% less food compared to those who ate more milder dishes.
Well, that's very interesting. So Teddy, what are some examples of hot or spicy food?
Oh, the most eaten one in Korea, it's going to be samgyetang or tapbaeksuk. So they are both hot soups made with chicken. And actually, there is a really hot period in Korea, which goes from the mid of July to the mid of August, and it's called Pungnal. So you have in this period a lot of people they tend to eat this samgyetang a lot, especially during Chobok, Chumbok, and Malbok, which are the beginning, the mid, and the end day of this period. And you might see a lot of queues outside of samgyetang places around Seoul in this period. But if you want something more fancy, then there is another dish called haesintang, which is also based on hot soups with chicken, but you also add to it abalone and octopus. And if you want to have it a little bit spicy, then I'd recommend you to try nakji볶음, which is stir-fried small octopus, and then 매운 갈비찜, which is I would call that pork ribs. Pork ribs stew. And then there is also turichigi, which is stir-fried pork. And they are really spicy, flavorful, and they're perfect when you want to sweet a little bit in the hot summer.
Right, and beyond food, and I'm looking forward to summer because all the food lists are some of my actually favorites. But beyond food, Julian, what are some other activities that people can do to fight the heat?
Yeah, so in Korea, there are many jjimjilbangs, which are also known as Korean-style saunas. Now, a typical one has both like both hot and cold baths, as well as like a dry and steam sauna that you can enjoy. Many Koreans enjoy going to them, especially even in the summertime too, which I personally didn't really fully understand at first. But with the whole theme of fighting heat with heat, it does make sense why many of us do like to go during the summer. I actually went to one last year in Busan in the summertime and when it was scorching hot, and I wasn't really sure how much I'd enjoy given how hot it was outside, but I did feel leaving a lot more rejuvenated than expected. Now you go into these saunas, sweat until your clothes are just completely drenched in sweat, and then you take a nice cold shower after.
Wow.
And when you're done with the whole process, you leave feeling much more refreshed and energized, which I found to be very surprising. Now, the repeated expansion and contraction of your blood vessels help regulate body temperature, so it actually does help your body cope with the heat. And now it's not just in Korea too. Korean saunas are becoming very popular abroad too. In 2023, the Washington Post even recommended jjimjilbangs as a way to cool down during the summer.
I think you mentioned the hot steaming rooms, and some of them can even go up to like 70 degrees Celsius. And also, it's also the contrast, like you mentioned, there's also ice rooms and also like cold drinks you can have afterwards that your body really feels good afterwards. So Teddy, what about you? Do you know any other ways that people tend to stay cool?
Oh, another option you can try is doing outdoor activities, but of course you have to avoid the most hot period in the day. So it would be better to do it in the morning or late afternoon or evening. And actually there is something new in Seoul, which is barefoot walking paths, and they're made with soft earth. So you can walk barefoot on these paths and they are really warm. So when you're walking on that, you feel the warmth on your feet, but then you are also refreshed because of the breeze and the sweat you are doing. So I felt really amazing when I tried it, and I do suggest to try it once.
So we heard very different ways that Korea beats the heat. But since every culture has its own way of staying cool in the summer, we were curious to hear from our global viewers. So we asked on the Arirang News YouTube channel, what's your country's secret to beating the summer heat? And here are the answers we got from around the world. So Robin says in the US, almost everyone has air conditioning and ice. I can't imagine drinking water or soda warm, especially on a hot day. And Rosa said in Peru, we go to the beach early in the morning to surf in the ocean with huge waves, spending time on the beach to play and swim, and then relaxing under the umbrella waiting for the sunset. And Nate said, if you know the UK and how it is without AC here, I normally use a fan, but mine broke and it's boiling here. We'll also be joined by a millennial from Finland who will share how she beats the summer heat. And that's coming up after the break, so stay tuned.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us today is Yulia, a millennial from Finland. Hi, Yulia.
Hello.
Hi. So how long have you lived in Korea?
Altogether for about 10 years now.
So probably,
Yeah.
oh, okay, wow, okay. So we're probably aware of how people, fight the heat in both Finland and Korea. So how do people in your country usually cope with the summer heat?
Well, honestly, Finland is quite famous for being a cold country, but we also have quite hot summers. So in Finland, we have over 188 lakes, and also in Helsinki, our capital, we have the Baltic Ocean just next to us. So a lot of Finnish people usually go to swim a lot. And then usually we didn't have the need for ACs, for example, but right now the temperatures are getting higher. So instead of ACs, people are using heat pumps because we think that they are maybe more eco-friendly, as well as that we can use them also in the winter time, as Finland has longer winters than the summer. So for us, I think they make more sense than having the big like AC system installed in our homes.
So going off of that, have you ever tried the Korean fight heat with more heat approach this summer? Like, for example, visiting a Korean sauna, like a jjimjilbang?
Well, for sure, because honestly, the sauna culture in Finland is also huge. So I'm very used to going to sauna all year round. And also in Korea, I really do enjoy going to the Korean jjimjilbangs. But as a Finnish person, I think for summer heat, it really helps me when I do the sauna, but then go to the ice bath in the bathing zone. So that's very refreshing for me. But personally, I found it quite shocking that Koreans eat the hot food in the summertime, like samgyetang, and they really enjoy the hot broth. I didn't really understand how that can help, as Finnish people usually eat ice cream or cold drinks. But I love samgyetang, I love chicken, and I love chicken in a soup especially. So I really appreciate the Korean way of fighting the heat.
I feel like you. So, what's your plan for keeping cool this summer while still staying safe and enjoying yourself?
Well, I love summer because I'm so used to the long winters. So I think I will be using my small fan that is very hot and trendy in Korea. So to survive the public transportation, but also I've seen that they have a lot of swimming pools next to Han River.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to visit those a lot this summer. And also, even though I love samgyetang, for me in summer, I still do love having a cup of naengmyeon, so the ice noodles, so that will, I think, keep me safe. And also remember to wear a lot of sun cream every day and reapply.
Right, so we were really wondering like how, because Finland is one of the, like you said, one of the cooler countries, so we're wondering how you celebrate it. So it's really interesting to see the contrast and also the similarities. So thank you so much for giving us your time and sharing your insight with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So we just heard from a millennial in Finland sharing how people there cope with the summer heat. It's interesting to see how different cultures embrace the season in their own ways. Now, before we wrap up, since summer is in full swing here, how are you both planning to stay cool? Any tips you like to share with our viewers? Julian, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I would say just stay inside all day and blast and crank that air conditioning, but I know that is very unrealistic to say. But I still do think that is the best way to stay cool. When temperatures are very, very high, especially in the middle of the day, try to stay indoors, stay hydrated, wear more light, breathable clothing, and maybe even perhaps try spicy food. I don't know, that could be an option too. But in general, it is important to stay hydrated and strengthen your stamina, as the summer heat is expected to be another really, really hot one.
So we talked about spicy food, but it's also very important to have everything in moderation and important to stay safe. So what about you, Teddy? Any tips?
Oh, last year Seoul had 34 tropical nights in a row, and I feel like this year is going to be similar or even longer. So it's important to stay hydrated. It's important to avoid too hot period of times outside. And there is this thing in Korea which says the banks are the coolest place. So if you're outside and you feel too hot, I suggest to just look for a bank
and hide out.
and hide out. Yeah, that's the best. But I might say that in general, offices, shops, and also public transportations, they are really, really cold inside. So you might also catch a cold if you're not having a cardigan with you. So I suggest to always bring one with you. And I also, as Julia also said, we also have a lot of pools around Seoul area. So I suggest you to try that out. And I also found out that in apartments lots, there's small water park for kids too. So you might find it useful too when you're around the city. And another thing I might say is just drink a lot of water or iced Americano as Koreans do. But I also suggest to try hot tea for too much hot weather.
So for anyone that's looking forward to visiting Korea, there's places to hide out, there's things to drink, and things to do as well. So whether it's a steaming bowl of spicy soup or a hot sauna session, Korea's approach to beating the heat might seem unusual, but for many, not only does it work, but it also has benefits. So this summer, maybe turning up the heat is exactly what we need to cool down. And that brings us to the end of our episode today on News Generation. But News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. A big thanks to Julie and Kim.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for coming. And Hanteri,
Thank you for having me.
thank you for coming. And to all our viewers, thank you so much for watching. And we hope you have the best day. We are
News Generation.